Hey everybody, good afternoon. I wanted to give you guys like a little background on how I understood balance and creating points for everything, and how I even conduct my life as far as how I implement J Juice and then my activity base for the day. So that way, and then my food that I eat, the activities that I do, the world that I live in, the people I interact with, where everything is being factored in, and then I figure out uh, how I keep all of that balanced. Okay, so when I was doing the holistic world, when I was in the holistic world, and I was in Lake City, Florida, and I was trying to figure out how I would slow down the death process, slow down the cancer, disease, and chronic illness process. So I would create like a point system. Now there is a WordPress site that I had a long time ago, which I don't even go to anymore. Some of you may know it, and I forgot what it is. I might find it somewhere, but I created an actual like a fact or a sheet where I made points for everything. And I knew in the world of the holistic world what caused cancer, what everyone deemed to cause cancer, all the different chemicals, all the things that everyone's afraid of. So I would create points for like, you know, detergent and soap and shampoo. And I would say, okay, so those things that had all these chemicals in it, I would put like 10 points next to it. And then I would just list out everything that I was exposed to, what I ate, what I drank, and created points. And then all the healthy stuff that was supposed to be healthy, like fruits and vegetables and, you know, cabbage and kale or something, I would then put a lower point. So that way I can figure out, okay, well, what did I get exposed to today, or what am I implementing today that's going to cause like a higher score on a daily basis? And I know that if I were to implement these specific things on a daily basis, then I'd be closer to death. And it was just like my way of just keeping track and pointing out the things that would degrade my body even further to then cause me to get cancer. Though I wasn't thinking about the whole thing with balance. I wasn't thinking about bringing in the nutrients and then expanding, or what is not expanding, but I wasn't thinking about reversing the aging process, because that's not my thought process back then. I still had the whole idea that we're going to die someday. But now I just wanted to slow down the death process. So what would have a high point type of on a scale that I created? What would be a high point where I would then mitigate the detergents, mitigate the soaps, and mitigate this, mitigate that, to where then all that I would have left to then score myself would be all the lower points, like the fruits and the vegetables. And so that's how I kind of figured out how to slow down that process. So it gave me a framework, it gave me a way of thinking that then I was able to develop into now understanding that once you actually heal and seal, like 100%, it means that you already got rid of the excess minerals or chemicals, as people would say. Because if you have an overabundance of minerals and then you're exposing yourself to detergents and soaps and processed foods, then you're going to then tip the balance yet again. You're going to then over mineralize yourself yet again. So that's why they've been trying to get people to get away from processed foods and only get into fruits and vegetables and celery juice. No different than what they do with the point system, like with Weight Watchers. They put points on the food, and then you're supposed to only eat a certain type of points per day. And if you exceed those points, then you're off your diet, or you're going to, go whatever, you're going to go crazy or something. So the thing with the J Juice, when you first begin the process, okay, some of you are going to be working. Some of you cannot quit your job. Okay, I got the luxury where I was able to take 3 years off and really develop this protocol and heal and seal my whole body. Okay, I got so lucky with the husband that I have today. I'm so thankful for him. So he allowed me really to heal from everything. And so when, so you guys are at your job, okay, and you're aging, you're degrading, you're dealing with certain cancer, disease, and chronic illnesses, but you still have to maintain your job. Well, you know that you're going to have to deal with getting the excess poop out of your system. So you're going to come in with an overabundance of minerals in your body, or the wrong types. You're going to come into this protocol with an overabundance of parasites, though there is a balance of parasites and bacteria that you're supposed to have, but you're coming into this protocol with an overabundance of minerals, the wrong type, overabundance of parasites, overabundance of bacteria, overabundance of fungus, overabundance of fat, collagen. You're going to know, I mean, you know that you have imbalances in all of your chemistry, and you could be overproducing and underproducing, and so it caused then the crazy imbalances of which then you have now triggered cancer disease, chronic illness, and aging. So you're going to have to go through the healing process, okay? And you're going to go to work, you're going to expend your energy, expend your hormones, expend your cells, expend all of this stuff for your boss. Well, what you can do just on a, on a daily basis is to take a little bit of the J juice if you can't do the waterfalls every single day. Just do a little bit of J juice just to get these damn little, to get a little bit of the juice in, and then really towards the, towards the end of the week when you have time, then do the waterfalls and go through the healing symptoms, do all of what you have to do. They're attracted to this lactic acid. That's why I had these little bugs come around. Okay. And so at some point, after maybe a year, 2, 3 years, you'll be maintaining, because remember, you're going to be on this earth for a while. So you're going to get used to just pacing yourself. I'm telling you, when you finally do the J juice and you get your mind wrapped around the J juice, you're going to have to adopt the idea of pacing yourself, because you're going to be around for a while. Those that are not around for a while or think that they're going to die soon, they're going to go as fast as they can to get to whatever that is, whatever their goal is. And then it's going to bring them also faster to death because they haven't really regenerated. So they're putting more miles on their body, trying to get to their goal faster than the other guy, because everyone's in a race. Everyone's really much in a hurry to die when you think about it, because also the goals that you have to meet are around the time that you'll be hurrying to die. So you'll be pacing yourself, and then eventually you'll get to a point where you'll heal everything. You're going to just do what you got to do. You'll go through your ups and downs. You'll go off the diet, you'll go on the diet. You'll go off the protocol, you'll go on the protocol. It's going to be a constant battle, because you still got to maintain your life, your kids, your family, your wife, your husband, whoever else is in your roommates. Okay, so eventually you get to a point where you're basically 100%. You're like 200% better than where you were before. Now, today, okay, I had some coffee this morning, and then I wasn't really hungry until about 1 or 2. Okay, and I'm busy trying to like manage stuff. And so I'm adding more things to my life gradually, because now I'm seeing that I'm not getting my PMDD symptoms. I'm seeing that I could probably maintain a semblance of consistency as far as anything that would require. So I'm priming myself to do something extra, and most likely probably work from home, so to speak. So I'm priming myself to do something extra, where it would force me to be on a consistent level as far as some kind of work or occupation. Because J juice is great, but it's going to take a minute for the world to catch up. Okay, so so what's going to happen is that you're going to find yourself where you're not going to be as hungry. Okay, you're not going to be as hungry. You will then, when you do get hungry, you'll eat some food, and it'll be like a little bit of food, and then you're going to want to then make sure you know how to manage your waterfalls. And so you'll wait till the end of the day to do maybe, like 2 cups or whatever it takes, to then allow that food to go through your system and process, so it's not being harbored in your body and then accumulating. Or you can do it every day, or you'll still eliminate every morning, but then at the end of the week, anything residual that was left over from every single day that you were pooping, but you didn't poop everything out because of whatever, then you'll do a bunch of waterfalls like on a Friday to really get rid of the excess. So it's almost like a body reset. So you can do it daily to maintain that, or you can do it weekly. As long as you do some kind of waterfalls at least once a week. Though you guys it's probably way too early on, but what you're going to find is that you're going to want to create some consistency. you're going to want to you're going to want to pace yourself. You're going to want to know that you have this juice right there. And it's not like you have to have it, because I could probably go a week or two without it as long as I'm pooping every day. But do I really want to? Okay. I mean, we could do an experiment, and then once you guys get 100% healed and sealed and everything is perfect, you'll, I don't know, I mean, you may take a month vacation, a holiday or something, and you'll be off the J juice, but then you'll make sure you poop every day, or you bring some pink salt on your holiday for a month, and then you go home, and then you'll go and release any excess that you've accumulated from your vacation. So I'm at a point where I'm feeling that that I can gradually take on other stuff. Now, I'm still going to do transmissions of my Facebook lives almost daily, but I do want to bring in some kind of extra work, and probably some kind of telemarketing, because I probably don't want to I want to really stay at home. So yeah, but I want to bring in some extra stuff, because I'm done pretty much with the research. Like, I think we've pretty much covered it all. I mean, once we've already done the funguses, the bacterias, with the human body, how it works, why it works the way it does, all the antibiotics and probiotics and all of that. Got it. These little gnats. Oh my God. We've already covered the whole thing with the food supply. We've already covered pretty much everything. And I have everything narrowed down to this, okay? Of which then is going to get then substantiated. God, oh my God, these little bugs are going to piss me off. Which is then going to get substantiated by, I'm thinking, a scientist who may kind of tweak this a little bit, okay? And so, so anyway, that's my goal. And then what Kevin's doing is he's basically taking all my notes and all of his notes, because he's also contributing, and he's gonna really put it together in a cohesive, clarified form. And it's gonna be the most I would say revolutionary book ever, because we've cornered the market in indefinite life. We have. I had to really make sure that my PMDD wasn't going to rear its ugly head. I'm finally seeing that now. I don't even know if I'm going to get my period or not, because I have no sign of it. And I can maintain consistent levels of energy without going into deep highs and deep lows. And I could be around people who are sick and not catch it. I mean, I have now the power to really take control of my health, which will translate then into my body, mind, and spirit, because you use your mind to then make decisions that's based upon the balance or the imbalance of your gut. And then the spirit is going to translate how well balanced you are. And so that's going to then be able to then spill over into every aspect, wherever you put your mind to, regardless, whether it's sales, whether it's writing, whether it's speaking, whether it's strategizing, project management. I mean, you guys that are in your professions, whatever they are, or if you guys are on disability, imagine if you get off your disability because you now are 100% well. What could you put your mind towards to where then you can generate some kind of currency? Because what is money? Money is what people are willing to pay for your energy. What are you worth? If you're sick, you're not worth anything, because you're not able to put out forth any energy because you're sick. Or the times that you are not sick, they'll pay for. The times you are sick, they won't pay for. And then you see a pattern and they can't rely on you, then you're worth nothing. That's what I had to deal with, was the fact that I had zero consistency. So I was always good at interviewing and great during 2 weeks out of the month. And then the last 2 weeks was like, holy crap. But no, now I see that I can maintain a level of consistency, and I have the power with the J juice to keep that level. I don't have any fear of sliding back to old hormonal habits, because I've changed the biochemistry. Okay. And so that's what's available for a lot of people. Some people are okay with being on disability, but I'm telling you, when you get to a point where you're very, 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 very healthy, and you have energy, and your mind's expanding, and your spirit's expanding, You're going to want to direct that energy towards something that's going to give you a return on your investment. And it doesn't matter what it is. As long as it's some kind of energy that you can put forth and you can get energy back that actually would then be worth something. Okay? And so some of you are, are so busy that you're not making time because you're able to capitalize on your strength today, and you know that you're heading down a death trajectory, but you can't seem to stop your trajectory because you're on a roll. At some point, you're going to have to take a break. This is what's going to be the most interesting thing when you guys get back in the workforce, or you're doing this and you're in the workforce. You know that it's going to take. You're going to have to take a pay cut. You're going to have to pull back on the reins when it comes to making all this money, because when you make all this money now, it's basically capitalizing on the hormones that are present. Some people are gifted for a very short amount of time these amazing adrenaline hormones where they can work and work and work. And I've seen that in people where they are such a workaholic and they can hardly ever sleep. So all they're doing all night long and all day long is just organizing and selling and doing this stuff. They're like, oh my God, I'm the Energizer Bunny. And I've watched them for 5 years. And then one day they have an event. They fall down or they do something or something else happens. And there's the weakness. That was a straw that broke the camel's back. Their ride of that adrenaline, that trajectory that kept them very successful for a very certain amount of time, has stopped. Now they can't do what they used to do. And that's going to happen for a lot of you that have been gifted with high adrenaline your whole life. Okay? Or not even high adrenaline, where because I've seen people who are able to work and work and work, and I see the imbalance. Like they don't have the fight or the flight hormone, or even the fight hormone. It's like they're hormonally imbalanced to where they don't have fear in anything. So they'll go and put themselves in situations, and they're such a good person. They're being so good. And this one lady, I'll tell you, I won't say her name, but she's a teacher. And then she goes on, she does, what does she do? She sells stuff on eBay. And she's always said that she's always working on her eBay stuff, and her customers love her. And she used to be a teacher, and her students loved her back then. And she just was always talking about, how she'd go and help the homeless, and she'd go into some parts of like New Jersey or New York and like after dark and give them food. And I'm like, oh my God, aren't you afraid someone's going to stab you? You don't know who these people are. She's like, oh no, if anything happens, it's just like, it just didn't make sense to me that you'd put yourself in that kind of danger, especially after dark in like cities like New York and New Jersey. I mean, I wouldn't even walk after dark, even in a nice neighborhood, because nowadays it's really, really crazy. You don't know what people are going to do. But that was never an issue for her. And I thought that was a little bit off. I was like, that's something's off there. And I realized that, and then she was telling me that how she's always working, and I could see her online, always working, and she's up to like 2 or 3 in the morning, and then goes to sleep for a couple hours and up at 5, and she's like only maybe an hour or 2 hours sleep, and that's it. And she's able to go. And I'm like, Jesus. Just like I see a dog that continuously plays fetch and has no off button. Okay? And so those of you that are in that position where you don't really have an off button, okay, and you're capitalizing on your success, which is great, but if you don't have an off button, you're putting so much miles, you're going to have to at some point take a freaking break. You're going to have to pull back and let somebody else have the limelight so you can heal. Because I'm telling you, that rise, your rising stars, like you see in Hollywood, their shelf life is about maybe 20 or 30 years if they're lucky. Some are able to prolong their fame, like Betty White, who's almost like was 94 years old, but she's pretty much, retired, but she's still, she still is used as an example for a lot of things, and she still goes on and makes appearances here and there. I'm sure she makes really good money at that. But when you think about it, Hollywood, which is a very small, percentage of our society, they have a very short shelf life when it comes to fame. So imagine all of you who have been gifted with a hormonal imbalance that works to your favor in our society when it comes to production. You have a very small shelf life. At some point, you're going to have to let somebody else be that star, and you have to pull back and actually take time to freaking heal. If not, then your only claim to fame is that you were famous or you were very successful for about 20 years. And now you're dealing with some kind of cancer, disease, and chronic illness because you didn't take the time to regenerate all of those cells and regenerate all those hormones and everything else that you've expended for your company, as well as for your own pride and your ego, because you didn't want to take a break to finally heal from all of that excessive hamster wheel going. Okay. And I was on the same, what had not had me be on that whole crazy hamster wheel, because let me tell you, I almost wish when I was younger that I was like a guy, because a guy wouldn't have these hormonal imbalances. So with my personality and my total like go-getter, proactivity, high octane, because I'm very freaking high octane, I know it. But what has stopped me from getting like that was my hormones, as far as my reproductive system. If I was a dude, I'd probably be one of those dudes like Tony Robbins or some of you motivational speakers, because I wouldn't have those hormones to then just totally shut me down and slow me down. So in a lot of ways, I guess I'm lucky that I'm a woman and that my hormones slowed my ass down to force me to take a look at my health, because I wouldn't have done this protocol to figure this out, because I'd be too much into making that money and racing against time, wanting to be a star until something stopped me. Okay. So that's for all of you guys that are very successful in whatever you're doing. You have a shelf life. If you don't take the time, or if you don't integrate the J juice on an aggressive level, no different than what you do for your job, you're going to find that you're going to hit the wall one day. Okay. So this is why it's so important to understand how balance works. You're like, I'm not going to go when I work again or whatever, because eventually, people are going to buy the book. Yes, but it's going to take a minute for everything to gain traction. But, whatever it is extra that I do, I'm not going to live my life the way I did back before. Okay. J juice will always be, of course, it'll always be in the mix. But I remember in the beginning when I first started doing J juice and I was interviewing for jobs and everything, the whole getting the poop out in the beginning of starting J juice was one of the biggest things. Now it's not going to be an issue. I'm always going to go to a work or a job or anything else or do something extra with everything perfect. Okay. And so just so you guys know, in the beginning, it's going to be difficult, but there's ways of which you can tailor this protocol to where you're getting used to, at some point, well, if you're not going to do waterfalls every single day before you go to work, then at least find a way to get the poop out, whether it's enema or something else, every morning. So that way, when you're drinking the J juice, the shit that you have accumulated in your body isn't being pressed down, and then you have this poop plug, okay? Because you got to get it out, and it's not everybody can, because even when, even your first waterfall is not going to get everything out. You still have caked on layered shit in your colon, in your intestines, in all parts of your body. That's going to take time for the layers of it to finally come out of the body. And so your first waterfall is not going to take care of everything, even your second or your third or your fourth. Okay, because then you still have residual, you still have crap all over your system. You have dead cells or you have excess fungus, you have excess parasites, excess bacteria, excess crap that all has to work its way through your lymph nodes, work its way through your digestive system, and it's then going to get coagulated down into your intestines, and then you have to keep the pressure to get it expelled. Okay? So, doing the waterfalls once or twice isn't going to get all the poop out. Doing a laxative, hey, Vicky, doing a laxative is not the answer either, because you have to fix not only the weaknesses, but there's excess crap, jetsam and flotsam, I guess, that's in your body that also needs to be released. You have stuff in your lymph nodes that are stagnated, that are stopping that aren't really, you know, moving freely. And so when you energize your immune system and energize your whole body with the salt and the electrolytes and the water and the probiotics or the lactobacillus and the micro and macronutrition, that, you know, it eventually also has to get released. And sometimes it comes out of your ears. It depends on just how stopped up you are in different parts of your body. Okay? So I'm telling you guys, if you have the luxury and you don't have anybody on your case and you're on disability or whatever, do the protocol. Those of you who are and get through, because I'm telling you, I had 3 years of where and now I'm like, okay, now I know that Kevin is handling the book. I'll handle, you know, the editing sort of, and then the content and all of that stuff, and we'll get that submitted. But he has now the rest, now that we've gleaned out everything, and then, you know, I'm going to have somebody substantiate the formula. Now, you know, what's next for all of us? I definitely want to bring this out to like TEDx or anything else, but I know it's going to take time for this information to actually, you know, get woven into the fabric of society. Okay, so what am I going to do in the meantime? So that's what I'm thinking of. What's next? Because remember, we're going to be on this earth for a long time. Okay, not everything is going to pan out exactly at the time frame that we want it. So you always have to be thinking, okay, now my kids are graduating. Okay, you know, this is going to be over with. What am I going to do next? Oh, there's a change in my life. What am I going to do next to now go into something different? Because I'm telling you, we're not on that time schedule anymore. We pace ourselves and then think of what next we can do to keep expanding, to keep that energy flow back and forth, and to stay 100% healthy, not get caught up in the bullshit, and still make money for ourselves, because it's the money is a symbol of the energy that people find redeeming about us. What are they willing to pay? What kind of energy are you putting out there they're willing to pay for? That's what money is. People think, oh, money is the root of all evil. So you're saying that hormones are the root of all evil? No. Okay, hormones equals currency, energy equals currency, spirit equals currency. Okay, and some people make money off a really horrible spirit, an imbalanced spirit. Because let me tell you, currency is energy. Currency is currency. There's good money, there's like drug money, and then there is legit money. There's laundered money and there's legit money, but it's still energy, it's still currency. Okay, so you're going to have to come to terms with what kind of currency are you projecting, and how often and how indefinite do you want that currency to keep flowing? Okay, so this is just another take, because I'm telling you, my life, my mindset and my life is changing rapidly. And it's not just because like, oh, you know, it's forcing me. No, I'm actually watching and being the one to proactively create these changes. And not that I'm like consciously thinking of it, but it's like I'm at the end of the research. I'm done with the research. Okay, now Kevin has everything. Now you guys have everything. Kevin's going to put everything into a nice, neat little package with my help to make sure that we're on the same page and it's being constructed the way in which we want you guys to see it in, and it's clear. And then the next thing is for people to read it and understand it. And I'm going to be discontinuing the book that's out right now. I will be discontinuing that. And then all the eggs are going to be in the second book's basket. We're not going to do an ebook, to at least, because the ebook was just being another way for them to pirate and all that stuff. But there's always going to be somebody taking the book and then doing stupid shit to it and then putting it all over the internet, which is fine. But anything you get from the internet, you don't know, you know, so you want to get it straight from the horse's mouth. So always, you know, get the original source. Never get somebody else's representation of my book. Okay. And so, you know, that's what we're working on now. Yeah, and that's what Kevin's working on. And I'm just thinking like, you know, what's next? And then that's the next thing for you guys. You know, once you're done with healing, and then, you know, and then you're who knows what's next for you. You guys could change jobs or keep your current job, or create another type of dream for yourself. Just imagine, you know, in 5 or 10 years, you got, you know, everyone around you, like your company, there's smaller companies where, the heads of the company are in their 60s, in their 50s and 60s. So they're on their way out, and there is nobody, below them that's willing to take on or is qualified to take on that company. So these family-owned companies that are out there, they're going to be going under in the next like 10, 20, 30 years. Okay, because unless they find a successor for their company, the company is going to have to get sold to somebody. And then, the workers are going to be like ass out, but the executives will make their money, and then they go off and retire, and that's the end of that company. So that's kind of the reality of the J Juice world, is you're going to watch companies die, you're going to watch your friends and family die, but you can keep reinventing yourself on a continuous basis. And I can't wait for 10 years from now, because I think in at least 5 years, people are going to finally take me seriously. Okay. If not, they haven't already. They might now, but I don't know. But I'll tell you, at least in 10 years, when I'm 56 and I look like this, they might take me seriously. Maybe. Because this protocol is for really the younger generation. We'd be very lucky if the older generation picks up this protocol. It's the younger generation, because they're not going to be around long enough to watch us stay the same as far as our aging process. Okay? Some people who are in their 60s and 70s, thanks, Vicki, are going to wait for I don't know when to find the proof, right? There's going to be no proof that's going to be enough for them. Time is going to be proof. Okay? So really, truly, the J Juice right now is for your children. It really isn't for people in the older generation. It's not for my parents. I think we already lost the baby boomers for the most part, maybe. We definitely lost the silent generation. They're too far gone. I mean, I hope that some will, but I would say predominantly the silent generation, the ones that were born in 1940s and up, they're not going to do it. So you have to come to terms with that. It'll be a crapshoot if someone my age does it, like my high school class. There'll be a few that are my age, maybe a little bit younger. But in reality, it's for Vicki's kids. It's for Bridget's kids. It's for anyone that has children, because they'll be the ones that will be able to be around long enough to see you not age. That's going to be the proof, because there's no amount really of words or writing that is going to be enough proof for somebody who is that skeptical. It's you reversing the aging process, you being very well balanced, and you sticking around. Okay? That's what's going to be the proof. So it all comes down to pacing yourself. Vicki says, sadly, yes, that's my parents. They won't do it because they watch me. But they watch it. Yes, my boys and their mates. Yeah. Your boys, you're going to see. Somebody was telling me that they have kids, and even though their kids aren't doing it right now, the kids will grow up to be like in their 30s, and maybe they'll do the juice, but the mom is going to be now reversing the aging process to where she's going to look like she and her child are going to meet now finally at age 30. And then if the child doesn't do the protocol, the child's going to surpass the cellular aging process, surpass the mother. Okay? So do you really want your kids, to be older? Do you want to look older than your parents, the ones, that have parents who are doing the J Juice? But that's what I'm saying. It really is for the younger generation. And I don't even think the millennials, maybe the millennials. I guess so, yeah, the millennials, or even younger, the whatever that is, under this Generation Z. Is that Generation Zombie or something? Okay, so don't worry about trying to change the minds of people who are older, because they are probably a lost cause. Okay, focus on your children as far as just exemplifying. You don't have to ram it down their throat, but make sure that you are exemplifying someone well balanced, reversing the aging process, and you're going to stick around. Okay, as they get older, you're going to look younger, and then at some point that's going to be, you know, an obvious. And Gloria says, my son is the only one on my household open to drink it. He is 16. That's awesome. See, he's already a lucky kid. He's already, that's the next generation. And there's other, like Vicky's kids, next generation. They're going to be the J juice generation. That'll be the last, anyone that drinks the juice will be the last generation, you know, as far as on this earth. So, and then there's others that are going to have, you know, they're going to do the juice or not do the juice, and they'll have kids, and then, you know, maybe we'll give them, they'll do the juice, and then they will be the last. I mean, who knows? I mean, how it's going to all pan out. But really, truly, how I'm seeing balance is I'm not eating a lot. I felt definitely my sugar was very low earlier today, so that's why I ate some mac and cheese and some with butter in it, and a few potato chips with barbecue potato chips. So, you know, those minerals and the hormones and the sugars and the water, and I'm going to drink, you know, this with the salt and the sodium. Okay, all of that. And actually, you know what I else had? I had a bagel, and I had, oh, that's right. And I had an apple fritter. So yeah, so I did eat something earlier. So man, I was really hungry. But but then, you know, it's like, I don't feel full. I could probably eat a bunch of stuff and I wouldn't feel full. But I want to take away the hunger pangs. Because I poop every day, the body isn't capitalizing on that extra stuff. So I think poop also can be good to maintain where you don't have to keep feeding yourself, which you need to anyways. But poop, so I remember every single time that I pooped a lot, I would feel hungry right afterwards. So I'm thinking, like, you know what? My body is still deriving benefit from that poop where I don't feel like I have to eat, but then I don't want it to accumulate too. So there is that balance. So that's why I say, you know, if you need, you know, but that's when on a very, very, very finely tuned system. When you guys are just starting the process, you have so much poop in your system, you're not going to have that Princess and the Pea type of feeling of sensitivity that, you know, that if you poop, you're going to feel so hungry. Okay. In the beginning, you guys have so much poop in your system and so many issues that you have to get those fixed first. And then you will have and experience a finely tuned strategic process of digestion and capitalizing on the available minerals and proteins and sugars and fats and hormones and everything else. Okay. And you're not going to politicize it either. You're just going to eat what's there, because every single food is a data source. And how well balanced you are will be then how you will be able to process that data source and capitalize it and get benefit from it. It's not going to be a detriment to you. You know, when you see all over Facebook that says, oh yeah, bacon is horrible for you, or this food is horrible for you, or that food, or the dryer sheets are so dangerous, and the air fresheners are so bad, and the chemtrails and whatever, the 5G, you realize that those are the people who are very weak in our society, that are very sensitive to their environment. They can't adapt. So they play, I'm going to live in a bubble game, and then they're going to impose their weaknesses onto everybody else. So they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm weak and I can't handle dryer sheets, or I can't handle the tap water, or I can't handle the chemtrails or the 5G or the contrails or whatever else. Therefore, you cannot have that information either. If I can't have that information, then you can't either. That's exactly what the activism is all about. Yes, Kevin, I know. And believe me, yeah. It's interesting about the hormones, because I'm telling you, hormones, all of it is data source. I mean, here's the thing, I don't love the fact that animals suffer to give us life, but everything suffers out there. Some of us who are weak are going to suffer from some other predator. Okay? It's all about predator and prey, but you have to be the stronger one. There's always going to be something weaker than somebody else, but don't end up being the weaker one. End up being the stronger one. And then don't waste the food. It always needs to go to use. but I mean, the whole thing with the meat thing is like, I don't eat a lot of it, but when I do, make stuff, it just contributes to the data source of my body to be able to handle it. So, so anyways, just understand that it truly is about deriving benefit and adapting to your environment to where you don't have to live in a bubble and play the discrimination game. You've got to get rid of the poop in your body. You're going to feel at some point when you do poop and you feel hungry, you realize that now your system is that efficient to where you could have probably had that poop stay in your system for another day and you wouldn't feel it. It wouldn't make a difference to you. And you probably didn't have to eat that day because you could live off that poop that's giving your body nutrition and not making you feel like you have to eat something else to fill in that void. See, that's what it is that right now you guys have so much poop in your system, and you're also feeling hungry because you also have candida and fungus. Okay, Kevin, interesting. So you have all this candida and fungus, and so you're craving all this stuff, but then you're collecting poop in your system. And so then on the other side of the other context, the other side of the equation is when your system is that efficient, then the poop leaves your body. You need to feed your body more so the body can then get more energy and have that as a resource, a reserve. Okay. So it's interesting how poop affects us negatively and how it could affect us positively. Something like, damn, I just pooped. Now I got to go eat some more stuff. I could have just not pooped for a day and then not be hungry, not eat anything. Okay. And then Kevin says, I couldn't get over the meat is full of parasites. Now I understand that most of these so-called parasites should be called symbiotes because they were helping the animal digest toxins. And I know you mentioned that before, but I was very resolute that parasites were foreign objects. But then it is about living symbiotically with your environment. See, I've come to a point of balance. And then with Kevin's very, very articulate and intense research, Kevin, I'm telling you, you are a major, major contributor to this. Like, you're the other half of this, Kevin, just so you know, because that's huge. I mean, could we have gone our whole life without knowing this? Probably not, because then we'd have people who would then swear off of meat and then they would die. I mean, you can politically stay off of meat and that's fine. And you'd probably still be okay because we don't live in a society where everybody has to be, fighting wars and doing labor intensive type of work. You're right, Kevin, as far as evil fungus, there's no evil fungus. But yeah, we want to be able to substantiate why meat is just as good as not having meat. Okay. Because everybody, let's say I go to work every single day, I'm going to need more sustenance to be able to handle my interaction with my surroundings. If I'm going to be dealing with people and personalities and doing some kind of labor or running or who knows what I would be doing in my job, I would have to feed my body the energy, but then also process it accordingly and process it accordingly, and then release the excess and then be able to regenerate every single day. So that way, whatever it is I'm doing is not going to take years off my life. Right now, those of you who are not doing the J Juice, every single day you go to work, every single day you deal with people, every single day you give away your energy to people who are not returning the favor, you are taking years off your life. Years. Minutes. You have to know how to replenish and regenerate those cells, regenerate your body, mind, and spirit at an exponential level, not at a superficial level to where you're still going to die anyways, which is basically what a car does. When you give your car gas and do maintenance and tune-ups and oil changes, that's like maintaining your body on a superficial level. It keeps you going for a certain amount of time, but you have a shelf life. No, the J Juice brings you back right there to the beginning before you expended that energy. It gives you back what somebody else took from you. So that's what I'm saying. When people give you energy, whatever it is, okay, it doesn't matter, because you know what? Energy is currency. People who troll me or people who give me a wonderful advice are lessons in currency. I've taken all of their stuff and I learned something, learned how to protect myself, or learned something about myself or about another person that is going to benefit me from this point forward. So currency doesn't always have to be the greenback. It's also data people give you, so that way you know now better what to do in a situation that arises, so you don't fall victim or you don't become somebody's prey. Okay? So every single energy is currency, and if people are going to give you their energy, their currency, you're a very rich person, because now your ability to convert that currency into something that benefits you is now going to make you even that much richer. So rich isn't about accumulating all of this wealth and have it sit somewhere on top of a hill doing nothing for humanity. Rich is how you convert energy, whether it's a greenback or whether it's somebody's, negative or positive hormones, because you're going to be on this earth for a while. What's the point of having a big ass large house that's really doing nothing for you really except a bunch of things to clean? Okay, so isn't rich being able to give and receive on a continuous basis indefinitely, and live within your means, maybe have a few reserves in case of a rainy day type of thing, but not have so much to where it's an imbalance type of thing? Because if you're going to be on this earth, it's going to be a very long time, so you might as well pace yourself. Learn how to live within your means, the continuous balance. Don't accumulate collagen, fats, greenbacks to such a level to where it then creates conflict. Okay? If you're going to accumulate certain things, it's there for a reason, and it's not going to cause an imbalance in your life and in your body, mind, and spirit. So, this J-Juice puts you on a very different level of thinking. So you're getting an idea of what it is that you're going to be tapping into if you get through the physical healing first. Then you get through the mental healing, and then you finally hit the spiritual healing. And then now you're going to relax and realize this ain't no marathon. This is just, you got to pace yourself. I guess it is a marathon. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. But it's a marathon that is like a walking marathon. And you rest and you walk and you rest and you give energy and you take energy, you convert it, because you never know who it is giving, you never know what kind of energy you're getting, but you can always convert it. So, it's such an interesting, fascinating subject matter. I'm telling you, it is. And then Kevin goes, I did piss off many people with my vegans. It's okay, Kevin. I've pissed off people too, okay? And at least it's not, permanently all over freaking Facebook or the internet with Mr. Dr. Phil, who I'm going to outlive, of course. Oh my God. So yeah. So, we're gonna finally bring everything back to reasonable logic, no overabundance or underabundance, pace ourselves, be that example for our kids. There's no hurry. You don't ram this protocol down anybody's throat. People are gonna die around you. The older generation, most likely a lost cause. Really, who you want to be there for is the younger generation, and that is by exemplification, because you're going to be around and you're not going to age, and you'll be well balanced, and then the example is you. That's what's going to get people on this. So those of you that are spinning your hamster wheels, not making time for the J-Juice because you're so successful, a rising star, that's going to end at some point if you don't pull back the reins, take a break or take a pay cut, okay, and make time for your healing. There is plenty of time to balance you making money, okay? Success isn't all about creating wealth. Because like I said earlier in this transmission, there are some people that are gifted an imbalance of their hormones where they're able to be the energizer bunny for years and years and years. And of course, they're making money hand over fist because they have the energy and the currency that someone wants to capitalize on and pay you for. But if you're not regenerating that energy source that you have, that is very talented, it's going to end. So you need to make time for the J juice. Success is balance. Success is being able to be successful in your position, but then also take care of you so you can be around for all the people that are following you on a continuous level. And then you will start exemplifying what balance is. And you can still make money at it because you're going to be around a long time. People that make a lot of money now, it's because they're making up for the lost time in the future. Do you see what I'm saying? Because they're so frantic to get to whatever that goal is, whatever that is, whatever carrot their boss has put out in front of them. They're so frantic to make those numbers that they will not make time for themselves. So they're working against themselves. The time is now against them. And then they keep trying to fulfill something that really isn't there. And then one day they're going to hit the wall. Okay? And so you make all this money now. And so let's say, like, what is it? Steve Jobs, he's like 50 years old. Maybe he has $1 billion or $1 million or something. I mean, probably more than $1 million. But if he was around longer, he would make a lot more money than what he has today. Or it would equal out. Well, I don't even know, because really the indefinite life is, there really is no limit on the J juice lifespan. I mean, you think about how much you're making per year, and let's say you're living to 500 years. So you're making like what, $1 million a year in 500 years, or let's say you're making $2 million a year, and $1 million goes to expenses, and the other $1 million you put in your pocket, and you're living to be 500 years old. That's $500 million you have in the bank account. Okay, assuming you still maintain $2 million a year, but then you know that everything goes up, pay goes up, so do expenses, but still come out to be about maybe $1 million you put in your pocket a year. So that's $500 million that you can make in 500 years. People who have an imbalance of hormones are going to try to make all this money now, not realizing that it's working against them because they're not replenishing the currency that somebody is taking from them. Okay, so even though you're getting paid all this money, you're not converting that money into actually helping you to maintain. That's what I'm saying, is converting money in the right way. Not buying cars and not buying big homes and not buying all this unneeded bullshit that's not prolonging your life or anyone's life around you, but prolonging your cells, because your cells are money, your cells are energy. It's what keeps you producing. This is for Surjit Singh. I see you here. Actually, I had you in my mind because you're a very successful man. I want you to keep continuously being successful. But you guys have to take a break at some point, a little bit, even just cutting a little bit back so you can heal. Because there's no sense in dying in like 5 or 10 years because you're so in a hurry to get on that hamster wheel and be, and I think successful people are awesome, but you've got to know how to pace yourself, especially when you have the next 5, 6, 7, 800,000 years, however long. Okay. And so currency is not only just, because that's what we're doing, is we're putting currency towards things that don't give us a return on the investment. Okay. J juice is a continuous return on your investment, and it's basically free. This is basically free money. You realize this? This is free money. Your ability to produce on an exponential level, and you get through your healing and all of that, this is basically free money. Because who you are is basically energy. You are money. Okay? I sound like the Swingers, Vince Vaughn and that other dude, I forget his name. You're so money. Yeah, you all are money, but some of you don't value your worth, or some of you are trying to capitalize on the hormones, your imbalances, and you're not know how to balance yourself, and someday you're going to hit the wall because you're not taking in more nutrition than you're expending, and you already have weaknesses, and so there you go. at some point your lifespan is going to be predictable. You really have to slow down, those of you that are on this energizing ride, on the roller coaster of success. You really have to slow down and convert that currency that you're getting into something that's going to be a major return, not some car that may have some kind of value down the road. Okay, that's not going to give you a regeneration of cells. Not some house or some whatever else, jewelry that people buy. That's not a return on your investment, because that doesn't help your body. It helps your image, but you need something that's going to give you a continuous return on your investment. Okay, so be very, very mindful of the money that you're receiving, the energy that you're receiving, the currency that you're receiving, that you actually get a return on that investment. It's not just one that you can put on Craigslist and say, oh yeah, I paid $500 for this, now I'm getting back $1,000, and then I'm gonna go buy something else that's not gonna do anything for me but make me temporarily happy. No, this health is wealth. This is money. This is riches. This is what's going to keep you around so you can make your money, and then you save it, and then guess what? In 500 years, you're going to have $500 million if you make $2 million a year. And $1 million goes to expenses, and the other $1 million goes into your pocket. Assuming, I mean, but you can take that down to, like, you know, whatever comfortable amount. But that's just, you know, an example. Okay? So that's why I'm not worried about my student loans. I have student loans that I'm like, oh God. And yeah, in a lifetime, you know, in someone's lifetime, people die with debt. You know why? Because there's no way that they have that currency in their body to be able to then pay off their debt. What is it? Their bodies are writing checks. They're writing checks. Oh yeah, their mind is writing checks. Their body can't cash. Seriously. You know, people who are in debt, their mind is writing checks. Their body cannot cash. And so people die in debt. Imagine if you continuously keep living, you'll pay off your debt and then some. And then you'll be able to actually go back to zero and then be now in the positive instead of in the negative. Okay? So this is just another perspective on currency. And you guys are currency. All of you guys are currency. Okay? You just have to realize that what currency is. It isn't material things. That's not important. That stuff is easily, like, it can be devalued just like that. The value is you, the person. Because I think about too, what would happen if I passed away? What would happen if my husband passed away? What would happen if y'all passed away? What happened if a head of a family, you know, some single breadwinner dies? There goes the money flow. So are you going to be able to now pick up where the person that was making that money left off? Or are you going to have to go and get a loan or go live with somebody or go, you know, that's what I'm saying. You guys, your life is currency. And so your ability to produce is paramount. And you can't produce if your body is breaking down, or you're going to roll the dice and say, okay, well, I'll do J Juice. I'll hit it hard next year. Or I'll just do a little bit each day. And you know you have issues in your body, but you don't want to take the time and take the break to pull back a little bit and really deal with the deep healing. Okay? Because you don't want to interrupt your roll. You're on a roll and you're on this trajectory and you just can't stop. And I'm telling you, hormones are addicting. And then, like I said earlier, when my friend, she's like, I'm the Energizer Bunny. I just can't believe I have all this energy and all this stuff. Blah, blah, blah. And then she hit the wall. She twisted her ankle or hurt her leg, and she had to go to the hospital. And now that's the thing that took her down. Because she had an imbalance. She was like the Energizer Bunny on that hamster wheel, just kicking ass left and right. And then she didn't take care of her body. She didn't listen to me either, because I tried to tell her about the protocol, and no. But I already knew she had an imbalance of other things, so I don't think it was going to really resonate with her. She's one of the people that in the older generation, she's probably a baby boomer, that really didn't want it. She was too scared of the salt. Okay? well, then her life is predictable. That's going to happen. Okay, so your ability to produce on a continuous level, exponentially, on a continuous, consistent, indefinite level, that is what rich is. You are worth your weight in salt. This is the ability to produce. Because if you can't produce, you're worth nothing. If you're dead, you're worth nothing. If you're not producing, you're worth nothing. Some of you are racing against time because you know you're not taking care of your body, so you're trying to capitalize on what you have now, so that way you can die with a bunch of riches that you can't even enjoy. Or you die in debt, one of the two. Why die at all? Have a good day.